Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we have two very different jobs and two very different coaches to go along with them. This is the second coach and we'll come back to this one later because first we have this one. First order of the day was to run Dead up to York YHA to pick up a school party who'd been there at the place for a couple of days on a trip away, and I took them to a butterfly house not far outside Sheffield, spent the day there. And then took them back to the school where they were in Nottingham. So this is me just arriving into York YHA. I could see the entrance looked a little bit tight, so swing out and round. There's me thinking I don't think I can make it round here, but as always we've got to have a go and see. Definitely have a try. So we're going to go over, having a look up, thinking not sure about this. Go for a little shunt. Turn the wheel around and realise that I'm definitely not going to make it because the angle of the driveway, and so think stuff it, let's go up and turn around. And approaching it from the other direction, much easier. As you can see now, it is an angled driveway, which made that turn round the other way was just a bit too hard. So up here, and it's not exactly got loads of space in here anyway, but you can see a coach to the left is already parked up in with the coach area bit, which made it slightly more difficult. So it was sort of a little bit of a reversey shunty affair just to get us into that parking space, but nothing we've not done once or even many times before. Parked up here at the butterfly place, there was space for 4 or 5 coaches, but I was the only one there for the day. This was the entrance into the actual place itself, and next to it was a lovely cafe, and they gave the drivers free coffee, so that was all good. And then this old red London bus had been turned into a snack stop in the actual park itself, so it was worth a quick photo for the bus spotters out there. Another lovely sunny day, another coach, and therefore another walk round tour. So today we have this coach. I'm sure the coach drivers among you will recognise this straight away. This, as you can see, is BV66WRA, and she's a Catano Levante. Again, the drivers will know, and some of the passengers may know, that this is an ex-National Express vehicle. So Catano are a Portuguese coach builder, and they have the contract, not exclusive anymore, but they have the contract with National Express to supply almost all of the vehicles to National Express. So this has had its day on express work and has been moved on to private hire. So obviously been coloured up with the standard skills livery and taken out of the YNX. What I like about these Levantes, and they're all the same, is they have this super wide entranceway, like really super wide entranceway. And the reason for that is because the disabled lift is in the stairs here. so it needs a super wide entranceway to be able to get the lift up and in. So starting as always in the driver's cab area, she bears the hallmarks of being an ex-Natex vehicle, the long vehicle stickers give that away. The holes here would have been where the ticket machine was, and the 4 holes there, I'm guessing, were probably where the Natex phone system attachment was. Anyway, so we have a primary bank of buttons here, come back to those in a second. Got a radio that doesn't work as far as I can tell, and a tacho unit down there. Steering wheel has got a couple of controls at the bottom there. Display, and then a few more controls and stuff over on this side, handbrake and all the stuff you would imagine. Okay, so back to these switches. Now, this is one of the things that bugs me, I should say, when people build coaches without talking to drivers, or at least it appears they don't talk to drivers. These switches all look exactly the same, but they're not. So some of these, or most of these, are standard switches, like the WC one here. Switch, switch, on, off, no problem. Some of these switches are momentary switches. So they go click and return but on, and click and return but off. And yet still some other of these switches are rocker switches. They go down for one position, off and up for one position. But none of them are labelled to indicate what they are. So when I was doing my walk round check this morning, and I couldn't get the powered lockers to actually open because I was trying to press them the wrong way, because they're not labelled as rocker switches. So hey, there we go. Just one of those little bugbears for me as a driver. When it's the first time you've driven a vehicle like this, you have to find out all these little things. Now, I said this is now returned to service work, and I'm just not going to show you quite yet, because this is what happens to lots of ex-National Express coaches. So they are what we called up-seated. And as you can see, we've now got 5 across the width. We've got fairly narrow seats. We'll come back to that in a sec, but an extremely narrow aisle. And that's to get 80 seats on the vehicle. So this is an 80-seater. Your standard single axle coach is going to be low 50s. Your standard triaxle coach is going to be somewhere low 60s. A Decker coach with seats all throughout, it's going to be somewhere around 70-ish, low 70s. And then this is an 80-seater, but obviously not a Decker. It is a triaxle, of course, but not a Decker. So seat belts fitted, obviously, as you'd imagine. As I say, it's quite a narrow aisle. An adult does have to be a little bit careful, especially me, getting my slightly larger frame up this aisle. Now it's interesting, they chose to retain the toilet at the back. I would have thought when you upseat a vehicle like this, you would take the toilet out. It's now going to get used for schools and schoolwork. So I'm likely to be going on long journeys, but it is just possible. The door is a slide. And it's a, decent enough sized toilet. But I say, they retained the toilet on this vehicle. But yet still managed to get in the 80 seats because they are fairly small. It's a quick show of the uppercase there. So yeah, 80 seats on this one. So what happens is that when a Natex vehicle comes to the end of its service life, they obviously take it into the workshop. They take out all of the first set of seats that are in it, and then replace them with these narrow width but higher capacity seats. So I'm just going to sit down in one of these seats here, straight on. I'll flip the camera around. Now, hi everyone. As you can see just about, I'm fairly broad shouldered, but my shoulders, as you can see here, are clearly well over the width of the seat. So you're not going to fit 3 adults on these seats. That's why they are designed for schools and kids, because they're just really not quite big enough for adults, you know, to comfortably sit here. I mean, you could do 2 adults across this width and have a bit of space here, but obviously you're not getting a seating capacity then. So that's why they are up-seated to 80 seats, ideal for kids. Okay, I think that's this tour come to an end. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to show you on this coach. Quick look back down the coach, and there we go. I thought I'd give you a demonstration of the wheelchair ramp, since the ramp in these Nat X's is about the only one I've seen really where the ramp comes out of the front steps of the coach. And as I said earlier, it's got the extra wide entranceway to allow the ramp to do what it needs to do. So I thought I'd give you a demonstration. So the ramp is on, it's powered on. I'm standing up in the first row near side seats, which is just where the controller is located. So unlike most of the coaches, it's done from the outside, this one's done from the inside. So the first thing we're going to do is put the ramp out. Okay, if you can hear me, you can ignore the beeping. So the back rest and the arms are all powered. So you just load the wheelchair on backwards as you would normally do. So that deploys the ramp to its full position, and then you manually just flap the bridging plate over, and hopefully you can see now on the video that that provides a ramp all the way up to floor level to allow the wheelchair access, and obviously it's the reverse to get the person in the wheelchair back off again. And there we have it back to down position, and then we can obviously stow the wheelchair back into its correct location at home. And there we go, that's the wheelchair ramp. Okay gang, as you can see by the high vis and by the background, we are back at the yard. WRA is there behind me, but the day is not done, because if I turn around, let's go this way, you see the yard's quite empty. But there we go, I'm now taking one of our executive team coaches out, and we're going to go take the Nottingham Panthers just from Nottingham down to Birmingham Airport. So only a short little run there and back, but tagged on the end of the day makes this a bit of a long day. So there we go. Well guys, hopefully you can hear me over the noise of the traffic. We're in central Nottingham. We are parked outside the back of Nottingham Ice Arena. We're ready here waiting for the guys to come. So hopefully I'm allowed to do a little walk around on this coach. She's an absolute beauty, she really is. Not the newest coach, but she's kept in absolutely tip-top condition. and she is beautiful. So we have these double wide, hard to see, but these double wide opening doors. And you have 3 and a 2 downstairs. Try and get over the driver's cab. So we've got all the usual controls. Anyone who's driven a Van Hool will recognise all of these buttons and switches. They're all very Van Hool-like. And get myself back out of here. And then we spin round to the front set of steps. Are you ready for this, guys? Are you ready? How's that for a thing of beauty? We've got sets of 4 tables. All the way down to the back. And then at the back we've got a fully equipped kitchen, 2 Neff sliding height ovens, commercial microwave, plenty of fridges and under counter storage, sink, a normal microwave, and then the all important tea and coffee machine. I'm guessing this was probably an AD systems conversion, not sure, but probably. Fridges. Then we have back stairs and a toilet as always. Plenty of screens. And then down at the front we got a little, just some individual pairs of seats. Again, small screens there, big screen at the top. Let's spin around if we can. So this vehicle, as I understand it, well, I know it's a Van Hool, but I think this is a Van Hool Altano. It's effectively, excuse me, it's effectively a double-decker coach, but the whole of the lower deck is given over to storage. Storage for stuff and the ancillary other items that this coach requires by virtue of its specification. So that's power, batteries, inverters, all sorts of stuff, and obviously an awful lot of storage, which these guys who are ice hockey players need, because they carry massive bags around with lots of gear, ice hockey skates, obviously sticks, all that kind of stuff, lots of protection and padding, so they got big bags, so lots of storage space. And this Altano is custom made really as a vehicle for sports teams and also cruise transfers, which also require a lot of space for luggages. You've seen that in my other videos. So there we go, that's a Van Hool Altano, I believe this is. And she's an absolute beauty, and she's super smooth to drive. Lovely. Let's go back down this front stairs again. Back down to the driver's area. And if I can, without getting myself run over, I'll see if I can do a little run down the side. You can see these, hopefully you can see it there, these absolutely massive lockers. I mean, they are, goodness me, I'm 6 foot tall, and they are about my eye height. So they are, probably 5'10", 5'8", something like that. She obviously attracts, as you imagine. Skills Corporate Hospitality livery. Hopefully you can hear me in with the wind blowing, but there's the back end. And then round to the near side. I'm on the pavement now, so hopefully I can get a bit further back. Hopefully you can still hear me. Try and get the full length in. We're in the shade now behind the building, so coming down to the front again. Long overhangs on this. Long overhang front and back. And then back round to the front again. So there she is. Absolutely beautiful coach. Really, really nice. And as I said, I'm here for these guys who are going to Birmingham Airport. Because I'd gone straight from Sheffield back to the yard, swapped the coach over, gone straight out to Nottingham Panthers, down to Birmingham Airport, and then on the way back, I decided just to have a quick break to nip to the loo and grab a coffee. So I stopped at Tamworth Services, which is where this is now. So this is just a little shot of the coach, of me pulling out of the services and just the start of the run back onto the M42 back towards the yard again. The thing to notice about this coach particularly, because it's, as I said earlier, effectively a decker, what they have is they have a very low driving position compared to normal single deck coaches. A very low driving position, which in itself is not a problem, just something slightly different. But what they have is these very, very narrow top to bottom windscreens. Obviously they're super wide because they're the standard width, but they're very narrow top to bottom. So you get, you know, it's not restricted in a bad sense, but it is just a more restricted view height wise obviously than you'd get in a standard single decker coach. So that's just one thing that's particular to these deckers. The other thing about these van hauls, again, for any drivers out there who've driven these van hauls, this particular model comes with effectively a dual shift gearbox. So if you have a modern car, you may have a dual shift gearbox. It allows you to drive it in both automatic and manual mode. Now, most drivers spend most of the time driving in auto because it's just easy, but every now and again I like to just have a bit of a play and drive it in manual. We used to have these gearboxes, van hauls with these gearboxes in a previous place I drove at, and that's where I sort of learned to do this, and it just kind of keeps your hand in. It's like driving a manual in the car in a sense, really. It's just about knowing engine revs, keeping an ear out for the engine revs and changing up and down as you need to. The only difference on this one is that these van hauls have what, I don't know what it's called, it's probably got a name, someone can tell me below, but they have this option on the gear lever to be able to change either 1 or 2 gears. If you drive in automatic mode, you will start off in 3rd gear. It has a 2nd and a 1st, obviously for very steep hills or for situations where you need to have lots of low end power. But it's on, just normal flat roads, it will start off in 3rd gear. And in auto, it will change up 3, 5, 7, 9, and then go 10, 11, 12. And that's what you can replicate using the 2 and 1 stage gearbox. With the shifter here, you can see. So if you push it sort of all the way up from where I'm sitting here, it will change up 2 gears. If you push it only halfway up, it will change up 1 gear. And the same coming down gears. If you pull it all the way back, it will change down 2 gears. And if you pull it half the way back, it will just change down the 1 gear. So that allows you to replicate the 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12 that it does in auto, which is obviously the the best method of getting speed versus engine revs. But it also means you can just nudge it up and down those single gears if you need to just get a little bit more power or just go a little bit more faster. As I say, it's just the experience in driving, and I do it just for the fun of it, really, just because I can. It doesn't harm the coach in any way, shape or form. Just a good thing to do. One other thing to note just while we're here is, again, this is a big beastie. She's something like 47 foot long. I let that lorry go first deliberately, so I got myself plenty of clear space. These coaches are well looked after, they're well liked, and the management obviously want to keep a close eye on what's going on with these coaches. They don't want them bashed, they don't want them twonked, they don't want them to get damage on them, so just be extra careful when we're driving these vehicles. I'm authorised to drive these, so it's all good. So there we go, a little insight into driving these van hauls. And this is just me pulling onto the M42 just to carry on the journey home. And then, as always, we're going to finish off with one of my little orange glow videos at the end.
Well, hi guys. It's I don't even know what time it is, like 9:30 or something, whatever it is. So I run out my 15 hours for today, so I was able to do a couple of bits on that coach, but I've had to leave it for our very capable depot staff to finish off. I'm off home, back on again tomorrow. So that's it. What a day. A couple of interesting jobs, all good. As always, thanks for watching the video. Take care, drive safe, see you again soon, gang.